standard filler material here. Standard filler. Say hi to my Gertrude. This is my better half. Yeah. I really wish that I was better prepared to go live, dealing with my own life, my own things going on. It's kind of kept me behind. A few medical things, a few life things going on. Normally, I would like these sort of things to be better scripted. I don't like just going off the cuff on these things, but here I am. So the chat should be open. I do not know if I need to. This is my first time actually going live, so I was hoping to get more updates out before the night before, election day, everything. So awesome. Yep, I can see it. Thank you. But like I said, I just had my own stuff going on. Unfortunately, I believe that there's a reason why I was let known, given privy to some recent developments. Hey, Nicole. So I would rather not be doing this update, but I feel like it's important in the fact of looking at everything, what this election stands for, what my personal friends, family, the people in this community that I know and love, what they've dealt with, and in hopes that by throwing this out there that this doesn't continue to happen. I need to make a few preface statements on this, and the first, I've said this before to anyone who has heard me talk about these situations, it is never my intent. I do not want to reoffend or victimize anyone in these situations. I will not be mentioning any names outside of one or two, but we already know who those names are. Elk County Sheriffs, sort of thing. You're a public official. You don't get to hide behind, right to privacy. There's no expectation for privacy as an elected official. But for the victims, I will never say your names out. That's not for me to do. But for those perpetuating these crimes, and more importantly, those who would wish that they went away, those that would wish that these situations would be swept underneath the rugs, those who take part in trying to sweep these situations under the rug. I hope and I pray, and I don't pray a lot, but I pray that not only do you get found out, not only does justice get served, but I hope and pray, because that's not where it ends. I hope and pray that for the rest of your life, that you live with the weight of the decision that you have made to decide that someone who is victimized, someone who has been hurt, that they should continue to live with that and everything in life that that is going to bring to them. And I hope that that weighs on your conscience every single moment of your life. Regardless, there's updates. There's updates here in Elk County. So, and then hopefully anyone who had questions about this election cycle, questions about rumors here, there, whatever. If I've been privy to anything that are all, what's that phrase? Oh, rumor. I can't remember. There's a legal term for it, but anything that I've heard in confidence, anything that needs cleared up, if I'm able to, I can let you know. But Elk County Sheriff's Office is looking at, again, covering up a abuse, very recent abuse, and there are many people in this county, and obviously the sheriff's relations, whatever, they don't want that staining the election, but there is a new one, a very recent one, not the one that the current sheriff is actively being investigated by the KBI. Yeah, if you guys didn't know that, if anyone didn't know why the KBI is in Elk County, it's to investigate child abuse is the shortest way to say it. Claims within Elk County that the current sheriff knew about. And they're investigating those claims because it is believed that the current sheriff shut down attempts for those investigations to be conducted. I don't want to throw anyone else under the bus that's also not a, necessarily victim, but the sheriff went to one of the schools here in Elk County. There's only like 2 of them, and shut down a investigation. Did this right around the time of his first election. And he did so because it was reported that the offender was related to him. Well, the offender in this case, I don't know if they're still related or not, but I believe they are. I believe that this is, again, another Walker family, Elk County family. I was very pointed in my conversation with, very direct, when I was talking to Lawrence about breaking up the good old boys club. But this is another situation where another family that I believe is related to the Walkers, closely related to the Walkers, the very least one time was. they fucking work for them. And another abuse of a minor. I wasn't here for the other situations, the other incidences that are currently being investigated by KBI again. But I was here for this one. And again, I really wish that this wasn't, I wish that I knew about this before tonight, because I would have found a better way, a better path to get this out there. But I don't want this to be confused about whether or not this story is out there because they're trying to protect the victim, because that's not what is going on. And it's never been about what's going on. It wasn't about what was going on when Walker was getting elected and his own family was committing these crimes in his own house. And any other case, and there's many other cases, there's multiple cases, close family and friends, people that I know dearly that are affected by this, not because of these two incidences that I'm referring to. No, because, well, if your sheriff is going to look the other way for this, who's to say he's not going to look the other way when it's happening to someone else? Again, and to be direct, these are cases of abuse. These are cases where there are children involved. I know multiple people, one directly involved with the first case, one not involved with any of these cases. And nothing happens. Why? No, there's three. Entire another family. And you know why nothing fucking happens? Well, you got to cover up one, right? Well, you got to cover up two, because cover up that one to make sure that this one, well, you start covering up two. But here's my thing, and here's where you stop. When you decide to wear a uniform, it no longer becomes about your personal goals, dreams, aspirations, your wants, needs, desires, any of that. And especially here in rural America, in Elk County, it is important because everyone's related to everyone. And guess what, Walker? If you're related to this recent incident, I'm related to them. So, yeah, we're related, buddy. So, anyway, small world, right? But trust me when I say that if I pulled you over for something, if it came down to doing my job, the job in which people appointed me to, elected me to, with faith and trust of my character, that I would choose what is right versus, but this is family. No, buddy. You'd been gone a long time ago. It just, anyway, the point of this live is to let people know that the current sitting sheriff's family, whatever, there's another child abuse case that is right around the time of their election, just like the current case that he's being investigated by KBI for, and they want it to be quiet, but they want it swept underneath the rug. Like 3 or 4 people in here. Anyone want to say anything, they can. But you know, I've been wishy-washy on the whole. We'll change gears here for a second. Wishy-washy on who do I support, whether it's Joe Mueller or David Helms, and I see strengths in both of them. That being said, let's address the elephant in the room, Joe, and his accusation made against him. As far as I understand, the only entity to have made those accusations is the sheriff's department itself. This is not me defending necessarily Joe. This is me saying that I want to look critically at what is being said. Walker back. I'm gonna tell you, that problem will solve itself real quick. I hope people make the right choice, but the right choice just being not Walker. But no, be real hesitant about anything that is being pushed by anything related to that sheriff's office. The sheriff's office, who, again, since I was a child, we've known has corruption issues, right? And at this level is just, unheard of. I have not spoke to the alleged victim, but I've heard that she wants nothing to do with this, and that's why it only went to an investigation at the state level. There was one or two outside agencies that are in charge of investigating these sort of complaints within law enforcement, and they investigated it, and they cleared Joe. I'm gonna throw you a little ringer right now, because apparently the rumor mill is that there's a witness to this abuse. Now, it wouldn't happen to be fucking Joe Love, would it? Joe Love, the same Joe Love that witnessed me commit a crime? No? And clarifying, that's what they're going to say. That's been their little holding it on a leash. That's why Joe has been, he should have done a better job of going out there and speaking to the people, all that sort of stuff. But what are you going to do when this is hanging over your head, and you know that if this goes into another point, the reason why Joe hasn't been able to say anything, well, was he fired for that? Or was he fired because Walker started to see an officer that, and again, I wasn't here then. All I can base this off of is 1, 2, 10, 30, about 30 other employees. How many of those employees, how many of those officers started to, do what was right? And how many people in the county saw those officers and they said, you know what? I don't like the Elk County Sheriffs, but this officer here, I like that officer. And how many of those officers are no longer underneath John Walker? And zero. Answer, zero. Non-sum. There, after Johnny Franks left, I believe that there is no one on that department that was there when Walker was elected. And since then, in Elk County, we have gone through 30 personnel. Now, I know that there's a few of those that are, dispatch, this, that, whatever. Okay. But I'd be really interested to look at that turnover rate, throw a per capita on it, and look at any other office, any other anything in Elk County. Is he doing a good job? Now, I'm not very directly, I'm not on the nose anti-cop, anything like that. But I don't like this thin blue line BS, But I understand, Part of the reason I don't like it is because within 30 people, you are people. You're people before you're a cop. You're people before you're a dispatcher. People before you're in the military. You're a person. Except for if you're a cop. That's that thin blue line. And I wish that some of them could come forward. Not anonymously, just come forward as themselves. But you can't. You can't in this line of work without blacklisting yourself. So, but anyway, yeah. There's plenty of other cops out there in Elk County that have had their issues with John Walker and either removed themselves for their own safety clarification. Removed themselves because John Walker made statements about their livelihood, or moved on to better opportunities, place where they could succeed and be good cops. And I hope that they continue with that intent of being good cops, you know. So, yeah, you know, Joe was caught in a rock and a hard place, and if he'd have said anything, fuck yeah. you think John Walker's not going to cry about, you know, oh well, he can't talk about this and that. Yeah, you need to look at the election laws. There's reasons why, and I think he should have stepped up more, sure, but there's reasons why Joe was not out there as vocal as some other candidates, you know. That being said, I don't disagree. I don't, the taste in my mouth from Elk County Sheriffs through my life, I don't want another cop in there. I don't want someone else that is going to be part of the good old boys club. So I get it. I understand. You know, I just, it is what it is, I guess, you know. I'm not going to tell you which way to vote. That's not my intent. The only way to vote is to make sure that Walker's not the fuck in there again. Anyone wants to throw up a question, feel free. You know, you want to ask me, oh, well, where are all these people, you know, that have these stories that you talk about, these complaints of Elk County Sheriffs and John Walker's injustices. Some of them are former Elk County employees, Elk County Sheriffs. And I'm not going to bring up their name because I hope that they continue on their path doing the right thing, you know. Some of them are victims, you know. Some of my closest, dearest friends. It's always paramount to me that I do the utmost to not, I hate the term, but to re-victimize those that have been. But there's this weird, like, irony about the fact that, like, I wouldn't be caught in this situation if they hadn't been re-victimized by the same fucking people who were supposed to do something about it in the first place. You got guys going up to, you know, jury trial like 2 days for a Fourth Amendment violation because they didn't give their fucking ID. In a Fourth Amendment violation, clear cut, whatever. But going up to a jury trial because of it, you know, this thing's been drawn out for what? Over a year and change now. But, John Walker, when my friend, and you were sheriff for this, when my friend was locked in an attic and abused because of the connection of the abuser to your department and to Elk County, and the abuse that the children went through. In fact, one of your deputies spoke out against it and was doing his best. Was then very shortly out of Elk County. This is not going to continue. This is not going to be the status quo. I just hope and have, hopefully not a misguided sense of faith, that come tomorrow, the voters will do what needs to be done. You know, the important thing to remember is that as of right now, this is the one thing that I will go out there and say, fully 100%, our current sheriff for Elk County has a KBI investigation going on regarding abuse claims that happened within his own home, within his own house, during the time period approximately of his first election. Things got to change, people. Okay. I don't know. I have, well, I'm hoping that people remember that. I'm hoping that people pay attention to that fact, that regardless of anything that I may say that is considered hearsay, you know, and I have to say hearsay because they were given to me. No, fuck that. Go out and say it. It's not hearsay. I'm not going to give up the people who fucking told me these things, though. Come after me. There's a reason why they came to me. Okay? There's... I don't know, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that we're a day before elections and someone is like, hey, John, this story needs to get out. This story needs to get out because they're worried, because they believe, based on the circumstances and situations and the people and family involved, that this is going to be another case that Elk County Sheriffs sweep it underneath the rug. And I want to clarify a point that I had made very early in this. I don't even know if anyone was watching at that point, but the seriousness of these situations. Lawrence Accountability, kind sir. The seriousness of these situations. Sweep something underneath the rug. Because this case was brought to Elk County Sheriffs. This case, which happened recently, was brought to the sheriffs. And I was only told, again, because people are worried that, again, because of the proximity that this case has to the current sheriff, that again, it is going to get swept underneath the rug. Again, this is not the case from when Walker was first running for election. This just recently happened. This just recently happened within a month. And I've seen the people involved face to face since this has happened. It kills me knowing that. But you want to know who's going to live with that? Gets swept underneath the rug. You elect Walker again. Again, elect whoever you want, as long as it's not Walker. Because if you elect Walker, more of this is going to continue. But it's the victims. In these cases that I'm talking about, 3 of them now. Kids. This is, without getting too personal, but anyone who has the experience, whether it's social work, law enforcement, legal, any of those fields, they're going to tell you. Unless you get those kids into some form of structured counseling, into therapy, unless you get them into an environment that allows them the freedom and safety to process what has happened. I'm going to say that again. Allow them the freedom and safety to process what has happened to them. In 5 years, 10 years, who knows? It's going to come back. You want to know why Elk County has a drug problem? How many secrets does Elk County have? How many people are trying their best to escape those secrets? It's not an excuse. I'm not trying to give a write-off to, any of the local dealers or anything like that. We all deal in our own ways, but I'm looking at you directly, Elk County Sheriffs, and those involved in this current situation. None of you better come after any of those kids 5, 10, 15 years. Trying every day to live with what they are hiding. It's awful, but yeah. Because everyone else wants to forget. Thank you, Nicole, because everyone else wants to forget. But those kids are going to live with it. Before Elk County Sheriffs had my Facebook removed, that was something, I made a post about that. I wonder how the families of the kids that I knew of at that time, and it's grown since then. It grew today. I was just told today about another case. And I wonder what is going to go through the mind of those kids knowing, especially this one, because I know that it went to the sheriffs. I'm guaranteeing you, I know 100% that this case went to the sheriffs and possibly hurt others. because they didn't have the opportunity to heal properly. Yes. It was my 5-10 years later. Hurt people, you know. These kids don't get justice. It doesn't matter who wins the election. I don't care. But I'm gonna tell you right now, we're in the same exact situation, which we knew about. We started to know about the beginning of this election. Some of us in the know, the rumor mill, you know, it's a small county. Word gets around. That happened. If it didn't happen, then when I came out and made those statements months ago about Walker, about his family, why was nothing done to me other than I was removed from Facebook. Because these things are happening. You know, and it's funny that Nicole says that. Not funny, haha, but it brings up a good point. Possibly hurt others because they didn't have the opportunity to heal properly. You know, some of us, my generation, we had conversations about this, and about the fact that it was a known thing when we grew up. It happened here, you know? People knew. Enough people knew. Nothing happened. Wasn't that it was the sheriff's family doing it, but now it is. And that's where we get. That is the slow progression of things. Of when we cover up just one lie. Just one little, but it's family, so we gotta cover that thing up. Anyway, yeah, Walker's family, again, Elk County Sheriffs, again, silencing. The reason that I was told was because they believe that this case is going to be silenced and that they want it to be swept underneath the rug. And there is another case in Elk County where law enforcement and the people who should be doing the right things, looking out, are going to fail another kid. So just remember that tomorrow. Took a lot of time to say that. I hope it gets out there, but fuck you, Elk County Sheriffs. Fuck you, John Walker. Yeah. Thank you all.